you thinking of making a move to Indianapolis? Well, there are some things that you should know. So today in this video, we're talking about the 5 things that you should know before making your move to Indianapolis. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton. I'm a local real estate agent serving Indianapolis and the surrounding areas. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and be sure to tap the bell so you're notified every time I do a new video where you're going to learn about living in Indianapolis, but also working, playing, eating, sleeping, everything that there is to know. This is the place for you. So today, of course, like I said, we're talking about the 5 things that you need to know before you move to Indianapolis. There are a lot of things about Indianapolis that are unique compared to other cities. All cities have their unique things, but these are 5 things that you really should know before moving here. So number 1, it's that subject that a lot of people, of course, talk about every single day, and that's the weather. You are going to experience all 4 seasons while living in Indianapolis. We have cold winters, no question about it. We have hot summers, and then we have everything in between. So the winters here, most of the time it's in the 20s and 30s. It's cloudy an awful lot. We do get some sunny days here and there, but it is cloudy. December, January, February, 20s and 30s. We'll get days, of course, where it gets down into the single digits. We're talking Fahrenheit here, of course. And it can get to 0 and below 0, although that's fairly rare, definitely. But they are cold. You know, if you absolutely cannot stand the winter, Indianapolis in the Midwest just might not be for you, because December, January, February are going to be some pretty rough months. But if you like a cold period of time around Christmas, it could work for you. But we also have a misconception, I think, in Indianapolis is that we get a lot of snow. We do have cold winters, no question about it, but honestly, it doesn't snow a tremendous amount in Indy. Our average snowfall for the year is about 22 inches, which is a little bit below the national average. And of course, most of the northern states make up a bulk of that. It doesn't really snow in southern Florida or southern Arizona or southern California at all, unless you get into some high elevations in different places. But around here, 22 inches a year. The national average is about 28 inches. And usually it's kind of a scattering. We don't get a lot at a time. We get an inch or 2 here or there. It doesn't stick around usually very long. We might, in a winter, get a 6 to 8 inch snowfall, and it'll stick around for a little while because it's so cold. But the temperature cracks 40 degrees. It gets a little bit sunny from time to time in the winter, and it melts away a lot of the snows that we get. So a good portion of our winter, it's not snow covered. I mean, it's not going to be like it is in Wisconsin and Minnesota and some of the northern states who just get a lot of snow during the year. So a little bit of a misconception there, I think a lot of people have. Also our summers. Our summers, 80s, it can definitely get into the 90s. It gets a little humid, not terrible, not like southern Florida or some of the southern states along the coast, or a place like New Orleans, where it can get unbelievably swampy, sticky. Doesn't do that here too terribly bad, but we do get some hot summers. So we have both extremes, but what I think is really great about Indianapolis, and what I like personally, because I'll get sick and tired of a season by the time we get to the end of it. So when we get into February and it starts into March, that first real spring day where it cracks 60 degrees or 70 degrees and it's sunny, it raises your level of appreciation for it so much after going through such a long, cold winter. The springtime here is absolutely beautiful, and the fall is equally as beautiful. The fall might be my favorite season. We get through a nice hot summer. You're kind of getting tired of the heat. You're getting tired of mowing your grass. You're getting tired of taking care of things outside. By the time the fall hits, 60s and 70s, the air is really crisp and just feels so incredibly good. Things outside are beginning to slow down, and we're gearing up for the winter. So once we get into the end of September, that's when things really start to cool off, and we get those temperatures in the 60s and just have the most unbelievably gorgeous and colorful fall. Plenty of trees in Indiana. And you get into the southern part of Indiana, there are a lot of rolling hills and huge state parks. It's not all cornfields here in Indiana, that's for sure. And I think that's a misconception as well. So plenty of color in the fall, absolutely beautiful. But you will without question, experience all 4 seasons here. And on to number 2 is that Indianapolis, it has a lot of nicknames. You have Naptown, you have Circle City, and they go on and on and on. And one nickname, of course, is just Indy, I-N-D-Y, just because Indianapolis is kind of a mouthful to say. But all the nicknames for Indianapolis, they have their own origin, their own story, and that's definitely a topic for a different time. Not right now, for sure. But one of the nicknames I wanted to talk about is that it holds really true. It's the crossroads of America. Maybe you've heard this before, maybe you haven't. But it's centered pretty close to the middle of the country, and we have several interstate highways that run through Indianapolis. There's I-65, there's I-69, there's I-70, there's I-74, there's 465, which encircles Indianapolis, and there's 865, which is a little dogleg on the northwest side of Indianapolis. So plenty of interstate highways running through it, which sounds like the traffic would be horrible because of that, and at times it is, but actually it just allows Indianapolis to be so connected to many of the other cities in the Midwest, which is something I think a lot of people don't think about. You are within 3 hours of Chicago, sometimes less depending on what time or what part of Chicago you want to get to. We're definitely close to Cincinnati. That's under a 2-hour drive. We're under a 2-hour drive to Louisville. And then you can expand from there. Very close to Detroit. We're closer to St. Louis. We're close to Cleveland. We're close to Columbus, Ohio. We're close to a lot of cities, Nashville, Tennessee even. Certainly close enough to where you can get to a lot of these cities for a weekend getaway. And some are even close enough if you left in the morning just for the day. As an example, if you wanted to go to Chicago and catch a ball game or just go shopping for the day. Plenty of time to do that and easily can be done within one day. So very well connected, really truly are sort of the crossroads of America just because you can get to a lot of places very, very easily. And number 3, you don't have to love sports to love Indianapolis, but it helps if you do. Indianapolis is a very big sports town. It's one of the biggest sports towns in the country. It has so many things to offer when it comes to sports, whether playing or watching. It has you covered, no doubt about it. I'm sure you know, of course, we have the Indianapolis Colts, but we also have the Indiana Pacers, the NBA team. And then we've got the Indiana Fever as well, the WNBA team. But it doesn't stop there. We don't have a professional Major League Baseball team, but we have the Indianapolis Indians, which is a AAA club. It's actually the farm club for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But beyond that, there is so much going on as far as sports is concerned. We have the NCAA headquarters here, the national headquarters right in downtown Indianapolis. So we get the NCAA Final Four. Quite often, we get the women's NCAA Final Four. We have the Big Ten Championship, of course, played downtown every single year. Indy's also known for hosting the NFL Scouting Combine. In addition to that, we've had the Super Bowl here, and we will have the Super Bowl again in the future. One of the things that makes it such a phenomenal place for sports is that a lot of the events happen downtown, and it's incredibly walkable. Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts play, is essentially right next door to where the Indianapolis Indians play, where the AAA ballpark is. And Victory Field is the name of the ballpark there, and it's been voted the best minor league ballpark in the country several times. It is an unbelievably cool place. But also within walking distance is Bankers Life Fieldhouse, which is where the Fever and the Pacers play. But all 3 of these major stadiums are right there within walking distance, and it's one of the reasons why the Super Bowl was so incredibly popular here, because everything is just so compact and so tight and easy to get to. So you have all of those stadiums, and you have a plethora of restaurants and hotels. It's all very, very easy. But sports are going on all year long. There's a soccer team, there's also a hockey team, and it goes beyond that. The PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, and the Champions Tour, which is the senior tour, they make periodic stops here as well. So again, you don't have to love sports, but it sure helps. And if you do love sports, you're landing in a great place. And number 4, If you're moving to Indianapolis or thinking about moving to Indianapolis, you should definitely know that the food scene here is exploding. It is in a lot of big cities across the country. It's kind of the thing right now, the foodie scene, and it's no different here in Indianapolis. But the cool thing about Indianapolis is that we're in Indiana, and farm to table, which is definitely a trend that's caught on over the past 5 years or so, where menus will tout the fact that they have farm to table food, it's not very processed, and it's delivered straight from the farm to the restaurant. That is not lost here in Indiana. Of course, in Indiana, we have a lot of farms that surround Indianapolis. But since Indianapolis has grown up and gotten so much bigger, it has really taken on the urban farming aspect of food to table. There's more than 134 urban farms in the city itself. So people are growing food in a very sustainable way, and also, of course, then very local, and selling that directly to a lot of the new startup restaurants that are hitting a number of places around towns. But farm to table in the food scene, absolutely on its way up in Indianapolis. And number 5, this is a pretty big one if you're living anywhere in the country, is what's the cost of living? The cost of living in Indianapolis is really one of the best for such a big city. It's, of course, a big city. Now, Indianapolis ranks about the 17th largest city in the country when you talk about just Indianapolis proper, and then when you get outside of Indianapolis, include all the surrounding areas and suburbs, it approaches 2.5 million people or so. So pretty big, but that pushes it down the list a little bit, around 34 or so. But 17th largest city in the country, and the cost of living here is 48th in the country. So 48th out of all the big cities you can think of from coast to coast, from the West Coast to the East Coast, that's pretty inexpensive. So just about everything here is a little bit cheaper. Gas might be about the national average. It could be potentially a little cheaper than that, but groceries, healthcare, utilities, those are all right at the national average or a little bit below. But the biggest reason the cost of living is so low is the housing. Housing here is absolutely cheap whenever you compare it to some of the other places in the country. If you have $500,000 to spend and you go to a place on the West Coast like San Francisco, or you go to the East Coast and get into New York City, or any of the coastal cities out there, or even in the South, in a lot of coastal cities in the South. If you go up to Chicago, which is, of course, is a Midwest city, but it's a big city, $500,000 just doesn't go that far. In Indianapolis, $500,000 goes incredibly far. You can get way more house than what you'll probably ever need. If you only have $200,000 or $300,000 to spend on a house, then you have way more options in Indianapolis than what you're going to have in Chicago. If you go to Chicago and you got $200,000 or $300,000 to spend, and you look right in the city, it's not going to get you very much. For a family of 4 or 5, we have a family of 5, so we definitely need a little bit more space. It would be incredibly cramped in a place like that. So cost of housing happens to probably make up the most as far as how affordable Indianapolis is, but the other factors in there too. And I've got another video about the cost of living in Indianapolis that'll go into some more of the details. So there you have it, 5 things that you should know before you move to Indianapolis. And even if you're living here right now, those are things that you probably should know about Indianapolis. So until the next video, we'll see you later.